when it seemed like delicate handheld gaming consoles were everywhere. Like who didn't have a Game Boy? But now our choices for mobile gaming seem to be either playing on your smartphone or buying a Nintendo Switch, which honestly is more of a hybrid console than a true handheld anyway. So, how did we get to this paradoxical situation where mobile gaming is more popular than ever before and yet we're super limited in our choices of platform? It helps to look at some relevant history, which is actually mostly the story of how Nintendo pushed its rival more or less completely out of the market. Nintendo initially recognized that there was a market for mobile gaming not long after the success of early handheld games from companies like Mattel. These took the form of single handheld gaming toys that weren't true consoles. Instead, you had to buy a new unit for each game you wanted to play. Nintendo's first foray into gaming on the go was with a lineup of toys called Game & Watch, which creator Kanepia Koi thought up while watching a bored businessman playing with a calculator on the train. The Game & Watch series was widely popular and helped the market for handheld games surge, not to mention that it helped establish Nintendo as a handheld gaming brand in the minds of consumers ahead of the launch of the original Game Boy in 1989. Now, the Game Boy wasn't even the first console with interchangeable cartridges. That title went to the Milton Bradley's Microvision, that had actually come out 10 years prior, even though it was actually a dumb terminal with all the processing handled inside the cartridge itself. But unlike the Microvision 16 by 16 resolution display, the Game Boy could handle detailed 620 by 102 pixel images, and perhaps even more importantly, it was accessible to everyone. You see, there were actually some cool portable contraptions that came out before the Game Boy. The VTech GameMate from 1983 actually had a 3D display complete with binocular-like eye cup. But the Game Boy had long battery life and was relatively affordable. These characteristics, along with a solid library of games, helped the Game Boy fend off technologically superior rivals like the Sega Game Gear. For instance, it had a color screen and even an optional TV tuner, which you might think would help justify its higher price of 150 compared to the Game Boy's 90, but battery life was terrible, and that was a big deal before built-in rechargeable batteries became common. There also weren't many killer apps, partly because Nintendo got the lockdown of third-party game developers early on. You see, Nintendo often made third-party devs sign agreements not to release the same kind of game for a competing platform for some amount of time. Game Gear ended up just porting over lots of games from the Master System, the home console that preceded the Genesis, which wasn't enough to make the Game Gear a serious threat to Nintendo's dominance. Other systems like Atari, Linux, and Turbo Express faced similar issues and were even more expensive than the Game Gear. Then other competitors cut cost but were based on unappealing gimmicks. For example, TigersGame.com from 1997 was cheap and touted internet compatibility, but this was limited to text-based service over 144 kilobit connection that no games even used. Bad timing also doomed other would-be Nintendo rivals. In 1955, Sega tried to release a portable Genesis called the Nomad, but with more interesting home consoles around the corner, including Sega's own Saturn, people weren't terribly interested in a rehash of an aging platform. I guess it just hadn't been enough time yet. Then there was the Neo Geo Pocket Color from 1998, which was released at the height of Pokemon Mania. Between that and the fact that Game Boy Advance was on its way in 2001, Nintendo already had the market cornered. The company brought us the innovative DS in 2004, and it was around this time that Sony tried to become a major competitor with its PlayStation Portable or PSP, which actually became a relative success due to its powerful internals, lovely screen, and solid lineup of games. But the reason for PSP's ultimate undoing was that it was trying to replace the full PlayStation experience rather than building something completely with mobile gaming in mind. The Nintendo DS dual screen design, for example, would be awkward on a home console, meaning that the 3DS became the dominant handheld until the Switch was released in 2017. Then, when you considered how powerful smartphones were getting all that time, opening up more possibilities for gaming on what was already a do-it-all platform that you had in your pocket anyway. It's not surprising that dedicated gaming gadgets from companies not named Nintendo have mostly squeezed out of the market, to the point where we might not even be able to play Snake on our graphing calculators as anymore. So hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button and also don't forget to subscribe.